The wreckage of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 lay scattered across the fields of eastern Ukraine. Bodies, debris, and personal belongings were strewn across miles of farmland. It was July 17, 2014, and nearly 300 innocent passengers had just been killed in one of the deadliest war crimes of the 21st century. The missile that had brought down the plane had been fired from a Russian Buk surface-to-air system, secretly smuggled across the border and operated by GRU-controlled separatists. For Moscow, this was supposed to be a routine operation, another step in its covert war in Ukraine, where Russian forces fought under the guise of pro-Russian separatists. The Buk missile system had been deployed to target Ukrainian military aircraft, a move meant to give the separatists an edge in the fight against Kyiv's forces. But on that fateful day, they locked onto the wrong target, a civilian airliner flying at 33,000 feet. Within moments, the missile streaked into the sky, striking the Boeing 707's fuselage and ripping the plane apart in midair. The passengers and crew, men, women, children, entire families, never had a chance. Their bodies rained down on the fields below, as GRU-linked operatives panicked and tried to cover their tracks. Immediately after the attack, disinformation flooded the airwaves. Pro-Russian media claimed that Ukraine had shot down the plane in an attempt to frame Russia. GRU-linked social media accounts pushed multiple false narratives: that a Ukrainian fighter jet had attacked MH17, that the plane was filled with dead bodies before it took off, that the West had orchestrated the attack to blame Moscow. The Kremlin denied everything, even as intelligence agencies across the world quickly identified the real culprits. Investigations by Western intelligence agencies, open-source analysts, and journalists traced the Buk missile system back to Russia's 53rd Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade, a unit directly controlled by the GRU. Satellite images, intercepted communications, and eyewitness testimonies confirmed that the Buk launcher had been transported from Russia into Ukraine on July 17th and smuggled back into Russia within 24 hours of the attack. GRU operatives and separatist commanders were recorded discussing the missile system before and after the downing, unaware that their conversations were being monitored. The Joint Investigation Team, JIT, led by the Netherlands, painstakingly reconstructed the events, proving beyond doubt that Russia's GRU was responsible. In 2019, 4 suspects were charged in absentia, including GRU-linked officers Igor Girkin, Sergei Dubinsky, Oleg Pulatov, and Leonid Karchenko. But Moscow refused to extradite them. They remained under Kremlin protection, heroes in Russia, criminals to the rest of the world. The MH17 disaster was more than just a tragedy. It was a turning point in modern hybrid warfare. It showed the world how the GRU operated in the shadows, how Russia's intelligence agencies could manipulate narratives, erase evidence, and deny responsibility even in the face of overwhelming proof. It was a lesson in disinformation warfare, one that Moscow would repeat again and again. For the families of the 298 victims, justice remained elusive. Despite international condemnation, Russia never admitted fault, never paid reparations, never acknowledged its role. The GRU had gotten away with murder, hiding behind a wall of state-sponsored deception. Yet, the downing of MH17 left an undeniable mark on global geopolitics. Sanctions against Russia intensified, diplomatic ties deteriorated, and the GRU's brutal tactics were now exposed to the world. It was no longer just a war in Ukraine. It was a war against truth itself.